Greetings, everybody. Welcome back. It is time for Unit 3 to kick off. So we're going to take a look at what's going on this week. Before we jump into the unit, though, I wanted to show you specifically how to locate your feedback. So you've all received feedback from the work that you submitted for Unit 1. And of course, this week you'll be getting feedback on the work that you've submitted for Unit 2. So I wanted to make sure that you are aware of where to find that and how to use that. My goal in providing feedback for you is always to give you some areas that will help you target improvement. So when you are looking at your scores and your grades, that's the way you want to think about it. You want to think about it as not of, oh, this is what I did wrong on this assignment, but what can I do to learn more and to improve and improve and improve. Continual improvement should really be the goal there. So let's take a look at the grade book. Now, I'm signed in as the sample student, and I have submitted some grades, some work. So I do have some grades in here. So if you click on the My Grades link, you will see that you have a whole list of all the things that you're going to be doing for the course, including your final grade weighted total. I'm not a fan of this being at the top of the list, only because right now we've barely gotten started. So a lot of people, if you don't do super well on the very first assignment, people start freaking out because they see this grade is low, whatever. Please try not to worry about the final grade until we get closer to it. There are a lot of assignments to be graded. So please keep that in mind. When you submit something, and if I have not graded it yet, it will say submitted here, and it will have this little icon with the exclamation point. That just means that you have submitted it, so it is turned in, but I haven't looked at it yet. When I grade something, of course, this will become graded. The word here changes to graded. You also will see, of course, a percentage grade. There's a little icon, excuse me, next to the percentage grade that says view feedback, and you can click on that and see your feedback. You can also click over here on the side where it says view rubric to look at the rubric and which categories you scored what points in. But the best way for me, I think, is to click on the actual name of the assignment, and it's going to open everything. So it's going to give you your feedback where I've typed out comments to you. There's not a lot of comments here because, of course, I'm just writing to myself. But where it says feedback to learner, there'll be a comment here. You'll also have the ability to click on the rubric itself and to view that. The main thing I want you to keep in mind with the rubrics is that the main categories. So you've got novice, needs improvement, proficient, and exemplary. So it's kind of like it sounds. If you're scoring in proficient or exemplary, then that's something that you can go, okay, I've got a pretty good handle on that. Where you really want to target are areas that you score novice or needs improvement in. Certainly with proficient, you may want to try to get into the excellent category, but that's a decent grade. That's showing that you do know what you're doing and that's going well. But if you, like, for example, this one, if the paragraph is supposed to be 7 sentences and your paragraph is 1 sentence, then you're going to get the lowest score, the novice score. That's something you really want to pay attention to down the road. If you score in the novice or needs improvement on grammar and mechanics, then that's going to signal that, hey, you really need to pay better attention in proofreading, maybe get some extra help with proofreading, use Grammarly, use all the tools available to you. But that's an area that you really want to pay special, pay special attention to. Now, I didn't do it on this one, but you will also sometimes have comments that are directly on the little preview paper. So you can also, of course, take a look at those. All right. So that's how you find your feedback. And that's important. All right. So what are we learning about in Unit 3? We're learning about thesis statements, plagiarism, and citing sources. So you're going to take a look here at the overview and then dig into the readings and resources. You've got several, 2 readings and an activity on thesis statements. Make sure that you do all of that activity as well. Thesis statements are something that they kind of come naturally, but then I think we put too much pressure on them sometimes. But a thesis statement really is just, are you clearly stating your main point? You also have a section on avoiding plagiarism, and there are 2 activities there. And these are very, very, very important, especially the one here about paraphrasing. One of the things that people struggle with is when you include information from a resource, whether you quote it or you put it in your own words, you still have to cite it. So we're going to be learning about that paraphrasing part here this week. So dig into those. And then when you're ready, you will have your 2 graded assignments. One is going to be, of course, a discussion board. And this gives you a real life scenario that could happen where somebody has plagiarized off of you. So you're going to react to that. Let's consider a scenario. You've been working for a fairly well-established investment firm for the last 4 months. You and a coworker were both assigned to write a report on the same startup business to determine if you should invest in it. Your coworker asked to see your report to verify some data, but the next day, you and your coworker hand in the exact same report. So how would you feel about that? How would you deal with it yourself? And what actions should your boss take or the supervisor take? So that's your initial response. You should write at least a good solid, 6 to 10 sentence paragraph about that, and then submit that by Wednesday night. And then, of course, come back and respond to at least 2 classmates by the following Sunday. I encourage in your responses to others that you aim for still a paragraph. It doesn't have to be as long as your initial paragraph, but maybe 3 to 5 sentences. Have one, at least of those, be a question that you might ask them. That'll help you really get the points for the responses. And then this week, you do not have a writing assignment, you have a knowledge check. So this is your first one. There will be 3 as we go throughout the whole term. They're equivalent to a test, but here's the good news. There are 10 questions that are multiple choice and true false. They're each worth 10 points, but you can take this quiz as many times as you want to before the end of the week to improve your score. So whenever you score the highest, that's the one that's going to stay in the grade book. Okay, so feel free to take it more than once. And then, of course, there's a quick heads up about what's coming up in the next unit and the units to come. So not a whole lot of stuff going on this week because the test a little bit less writing intensive this week, but feel free to reach out if you have questions. Don't forget that on Wednesdays, there is a seminar, a workshop every Wednesday for weeks 2 through 7 at 7 p.m. So if you didn't check the last one out, you may want to check that one out. Those are very helpful. You can also ask a real live English teacher questions about the assignments. But of course, you can also always reach out to me. So I hope everybody has a great week. Take care, and I will see you next Monday. I'm sure I will talk to you in some form or another before then. But in the meantime, happy unit number, where were we? 3. I knew I would think of it. Everybody take care and have a great week.